You must look at the camera.
Then which one to see? One,
See
two,
here.
three, cheese. 1, 2, 3, cheese. 洗，有没有洗车？
want to tell your children? It's awesome. We're in the snow in Wuling. Oh yes, completed. How many degrees?
0
Zero?
snow 0 degrees.
Snow and 0 degrees. Fantastic.
same as your road. Mountain road. This is a different road, eh? Go slow, go slow. Go slow, go slow, go slow, go slow. Slippery, slippery. Slippery, slippery. Go slow. Brother, rim brake for the win. Wow, slippery here. Elevation is not, the high gradient is not expected.别的人一起绕 island 啊。Welcome to this is the second part of the second single. Wow, you tàu. We're halfway there. 5 hours.
What do you mean by don't see?
favor. You can do it. One favor steep and one favor normal.